The fork clinks against my plate. A sharp, metallic sound that cuts through the low hum of conversation at the dinner table. My sister, Lena, sits across from me, her perfectly manicured nails drumming lightly on the stem of her wine glass. That smug little smile playing on her lips like she's holding the winning hand in a game I didn't know we were playing. Mom passes the mashed potatoes with her usual forced cheer, while Dad clears his throat, eyes darting between us like he's rehearsing lines from a bad script. So, Ava, he starts, using that paternal tone that always precedes some demand wrapped in concern. We've been thinking about Lena's situation. My stomach twists. A slow coil of dread I've felt too many times before, the kind that starts as a whisper but builds like a storm on the horizon. Lena's situation. Always Lena's situation. The failed startup. The bad breakup. The mounting credit card bills that somehow become everyone's problem but hers. I nod politely, forcing a bite of roast beef that tastes like ash, waiting for the punchline. And there it is. Lena's going to move in with you next week, Mom chimes in, as casual as if she's suggesting we try a new recipe for Thanksgiving. Just until she gets back on her feet. Your place is so big. And you're all alone there anyway. The words land like a slap. Invisible but stinging. My cheeks flushing hot under the chandelier's glow. Alone. That's their favorite word for me, the reliable one. The independent one. The one who bought her own craftsman bungalow in the suburbs of Seattle with sweat and overtime at the graphic design firm. No handouts. No bailouts. But to them, it's just empty space waiting to be filled by Lena's chaos. I glance at her, and she meets my eyes with that feigned innocence. The same look she gave me when she borrowed my college savings for her first failed business venture, promising to pay it back with interest that never materialized. The betrayal simmers. Not explosive yet, but bubbling beneath the surface. A quiet rage I've buried for years under layers of family duty. I set my fork down carefully, my hands steady despite the tremor building inside. The room feels smaller, the air thicker, as if the walls are closing in on this scripted ambush. They've planned this. I realize the extra place setting. The bottle of Merlot they only break out for celebrations. Dad's already nodding approvingly. Like it's a done deal. It's family. Ava. We help each other. Help. The word twists in my gut like a knife. Help meant me covering Lena's rent last year when she quit her job on a whim to find herself in yoga retreats. Help meant silent nights alone, tallying bills while she posted Instagram stories from wine tastings funded by Mom and Dad's loans. And now, this, invading my sanctuary. The one thing I've built without their strings attached. The silence stretches. My family's eyes on me, expecting compliance. The good daughter role I've played since childhood. But something cracks tonight. A hairline fracture in the facade I've maintained. The weight of unspoken resentments pressing down until I can barely breathe. Pushing back from the table, I reach for my bag slung over the chair. Fingers brushing the thick envelope inside, the one I almost left in the car. Thinking tonight was just another obligatory Sunday roast. But no. This is war declared in whispers. And I'm done being the casualty. Actually, I say, my voice low and even, pulling out the papers with deliberate slowness. I have some news too. The shift is immediate. Mom's smile freezes. Dad's brow furrows. Lena's eyes narrow like she's calculating her next move. I slide the document across the table, the signed contract for the sale of my house. Closing in 30 days. I'm out. The words hang there. Heavy and final. Sucking the air from the room. Lena's glass tips. Red wine spilling like blood across the white tablecloth. But no one moves. Betrayal mirrors back at me from their faces. But it's theirs now. The shock of their plan unraveling. For once, I'm the one holding the cards. And the price of my silence, years of swallowed anger, demands payment. The aftermath hits like aftershocks, rippling through the following days in waves of accusation and manipulation. Aunt Clara calls first, her voice dripping with that Midwestern concern that's really just judgment. Ava. Honey. Lena told me everything. How could you sell your home knowing she's about to be on the street? On the street. The lie spreads like wildfire, twisting my necessity into cruelty. I grip the phone tighter, staring out my kitchen window at the rain-slicked streets of my neighborhood. The one I'll soon leave behind. The truth? The roof caved under last winter's storms. 12 grand down the drain. Then the plumbing burst in spring. Another 9,000. The electrical system fried in summer. 5 more. Each repair a sledgehammer to my savings. Nights spent hunched over spreadsheets in the dim light of my laptop. Tears blurring the numbers that screamed insolvency. But to them, it's spite pure. Vengeful spite against the golden child who's always landed on her feet, usually by stepping on mine. Social media becomes the battlefield. Lena's post pops up on my feed, blood should be thicker than water. But sometimes family cuts deepest when you need them most. Comments flood in cousins, old family friends, even my high school ex piling on with hearts and praying for you emojis. Mom's reply, we're with you. Sweetheart. Always. The knife twists deeper. A public execution of my character while they play victims. At work. My coworker Mike pulls me aside. Awkward sympathy in his eyes. Heard about your sister from a mutual friend. If she needs temp housing, my buddy has a room. The humiliation burns. A slow fire that fuels the rage I've kept leashed. I text Lena, stop spreading lies. You're not homeless, you have an apartment and parents with spare rooms. Her reply, might as well be. After what you've done. The betrayal crystallizes. Cold and sharp years of favoritism. Of me being the invisible pillar while she reaps the rewards. Now weaponized against me. I document it all in silence. A war chest of evidence, screenshots of texts, bank statements showing the hemorrhaging funds, repair invoices stacked like indictments. The house, my dream turned albatross, echoes with packing tape and empty rooms as I box up 9 years of solitude and sacrifice. A photo falls from a shelf, me on closing day, keys in hand, grin wide with unadulterated pride. No family in the frame. Just me and my achievement. I tuck it away carefully. A talisman against the gaslighting. The resentment builds. Not explosive yet, but a calculated simmer. Planning my reveal like a strategist in the shadows. They've pushed me to this, the quiet daughter finally biting back. And the cost will be their illusion shattered. Saturday brings the invasion. The doorbell rings insistently. And there they stand, Mom, Dad, Lena, flanked by Uncle Ted and Cousin Brooke. A phalanx of familial pressure. They barge in, eyes scanning the boxes like invaders assessing territory. This is madness. Ava, Mom hisses, clutching her pearls. Lena needs you. How can you be so selfish? Selfish. The word echoes through my veins like venom. Triggering flashes of childhood, me giving up my bedroom for Lena's art studio, me skipping prom to babysit while she partied. Me working through college while she dropped out for passion projects. Dad looms. Voice booming, family first. Cancel the sale, there's always a way. But I stand firm. Spine straight for the first time. Leading them to the dining table where my fortress of papers waits. One by one, I lay them out, the bills, the depleted accounts, the advisor's report recommending the sale to avoid bankruptcy. This isn't about Lena, I say, voice rising from whisper to thunder. It's about survival. My survival. Uncle Ted, the family patriarch whose approval I've craved silently, peers at the numbers, his frown deepening not at me, but at them. Why hasn't Lena been pulling her weight? He mutters, turning the spotlight. Mom bristles. We've always helped her. It's what families do. But my friend Elaine, whom I've invited as backup, interjects. Helping isn't enabling. I've seen Ava break her back while Lena coasts. The room erupts. Accusations flying like shrapnel. Lena storms out in tears. Dad slumps silent. Mom's facade cracks with reluctant tears. The victory tastes bitter. The price steep. Fractured bonds. The ache of isolation in a family turns strangers. Weeks blur into a haze of moving trucks and empty echoes. The townhouse downtown smaller. Cheaper. Mine feels like exile at first. Sunlight through loft windows mocking my losses. Calls from relatives taper off, replaced by a heavy silence. The kind that speaks of grudges held tight. Lena takes the job I referred her to. A grudging step toward independence. But her texts are curt, laced with resentment. Family dinners resume. Tentative and tense. With Dad's questions now balanced. Mom's favoritism curbed. But the scars remain. Conversations tiptoe around the betrayal. The revenge I exacted not with malice, but necessity. I thrive in fragments. Photography classes funded by rebuilt savings. Nights without panic. But the cost lingers in quiet moments. Wondering if boundaries built too high leave you truly alone. The line between support and suffocation blurs. And in the end, revenge whispers its truth. Freedom comes at the price of what you once called home.